Welcome back to Cyberpunk 2077. I want to start this one off by saying there are no spoilers in this video. This is just going to be a mini review slash discussions about what's going on within the game, and basically just to give you my opinions, because there is a hell of a lot of stuff being spoken about. A lot of people are going absolutely insane about this game, and some people are taking this way out of proportion. I had someone tell me that they're going to contact their bank for fraudulent charge if CD Projekt Red refused to give a refund after 10 hours of gameplay, and I don't think that's going to work. They approved the transaction themselves, but people are taking this way too far, in my opinion. Obviously it's up to people what they do, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but I think some people are blowing this out of proportion. That doesn't need to be the case. Apparently the game's being review bombed all over the place and everything as well, but on that note, CD Projekt Red did have a couple of scummy corporate practices with their reviews. They didn't release a single console review copy, and with the PC ones, players were told once the embargo date is reached and they're allowed to show, they're allowed to put their reviews out, they're not allowed to show their own recorded footage, because it's just not what they want them to do. They want them to use B-roll footage, so basically stuff they designed for trailers, and do their reviews based off that. They also told us that the latest delay the game had, the one that was a 3-week delay from November 19th to December 10th, was to make sure the game ran smooth across all platforms. The Xbox One and the PS4 base versions have had the worst time across any of the platforms for this game. But the developers did put out a patch to fix some issues, and they are working on a lot more stuff. You've got to remember, this game's only been out for a couple of days. They put out a patch across Xbox, PlayStation and PC. Apparently I'm a liar. According to someone, it's only like a 530 megabyte patch, but it's not. The patch on PC was 1.4 gig. I believe it's around the 15 gig mark for Xbox and PlayStation 4. Or PlayStation, I don't know if they did. I think they did an update for PS5. So PlayStation and Xbox, around 15 gig. That sort of file size, and PC was 1.4 gig. It has changed a lot of stuff. It has drastically improved the performance and stability of the game, at least in my experience anyway. But they are working on fixing more stuff. Obviously there is a lot more to fix. There are a hell of a lot of bugs in this game. I'm talking lots and lots, but it's kind of expected. The game is huge. So the overall experience of the game, based on my opinion, I've played, I'm going to say 7 hours now, and overall the experience is a very good experience. And I don't say that lightly, because I'm incredibly critical with games that I play. I'm completely honest with everything I think. I'm never going to hide anything from you guys. But I have thoroughly enjoyed what I have played so far, and I've only just started looking at the map and just seeing how big this game actually is. There are some things that won't be explained that are fairly confusing as well. Like, for an example, when you get to the part of the game I'm at, I'm trying to explain all this without spoiling anything. You'll basically have a Delamain mission. You have to go to the garage and collect your car. It's a side mission, but without doing that, you're not able to drive your car. I thought my car had broken. I couldn't hold down V to call it in. That's V on the keyboard, not my character. But I couldn't hold down V to call in my vehicle, and I was like, what is going on? And I was trying to explore some stuff, do some side missions, and crack on with exploration and everything. But I couldn't call my car in, and then I realised that you have to do a side mission because they need to fix your car up. It's basically like a little tutorial to say, this is what's going to happen when your car gets totaled sort of thing, and it introduces you to more work. So there are some things that don't really have an explanation, but it's just about playing the game and finding this stuff out. I'm going to put my opinion out there as well on just don't abandon the game based on the launch alone. I'd say give it a month or two, then decide, and base it on how CDPR treat the game with the hotfixes and the actual patches and stuff that they're doing. Because I've seen so many people, I've tried playing this for an hour non-stop, it hasn't worked, I'm refunding. You never know when they're going to release an update. You could get a refund, half an hour later they could drop an update, and you're screwed. Because you've just requested a refund, you've possibly got to wait 3 to 7 working days for the money to go back into your bank. In my opinion, I would say be patient with it. If I was to give you any recommendation, there are a lot of bugs. You have to take that in mind when you are thinking of purchasing this game. So if you want to take the risk, because it needs to be done on a case-by-case basis. A lot of people are getting bugs, some people are not getting any. So if you want to take the risk, purchase the game, I'd say it's definitely, my opinion, worth the money. But if you're a little bit skeptical and you want to wait around, then wait for a sale. Either way, sale or not, I would say this game is good. I do highly recommend it. But as I said, there are a lot of bugs in the game. Most of them, or a lot of them at least, are visual. Like there are words being spelt wrong. There are vehicles being destroyed when you call them in, but they are still drivable, so it doesn't fully break it. Other bugs are happening with the game. I saw a phone floating mid-air. I mean, props to them because that phone had a full-on description about some server thing going on in the game. But there was a phone floating mid-air. There's an elevator guy that everyone knows about in Konpeki Plaza. He was teleporting around. I tried having some fun with that guy because he fully bugged and glitched. He started teleporting in and out of the elevator, and I think he had a fetish for very confined spaces because once I killed him, I picked him up, removed him from the elevator, got back in, and as soon as the doors closed, he teleported back into the elevator. So I think he called that home and just wanted to be in that elevator. But there is also some loot that is not obtainable. But I don't think any of it's game breaking. The only loot I've encountered that can't be picked up at the moment is the white rarity. So it's pretty much irrelevant loot. You get like green, blue, purple, yellow, which is like legendary, or orange, whichever colour it is. You get like rarities up to legendary. And it's only the white, the most common stuff I've seen that I've not been able to pick up. Everything else seems to work fine. But again, that's just my experience. There is one other thing I'd like to point out just before we wrap this video up. Like, I am loving this game, but I have to question, was there actually game testing? I did hear, and I put it in my video, that a QA lead, or the QA lead, so the quality assurance lead, the person that tests if the game's like good enough to ship. One of those people, or that person, or whatever, I don't know how many QA leads you would have. I would say you only have one, but it depends on the circumstances of different departments and stuff, whatever. Basically, QA lead was 175 hours into the game, or something crazy, a lot of hours, at least 3 digits of hours, and they said they still had a lot more to do. If you are game testing, don't you find out stuff that happens for majority, if not all players? And when I say that, the example I'm giving is very close to the beginning of the game, like literally within the first hour of the game. You have Jackie, which is one of the characters in the game, you have him walk through lockers. He just like phases into them, or like clips through them, and there's like another shelving unit next to it, and he's walking through it, there's paper and stuff flying around everywhere, the locker doors are going crazy. But don't you find that sort of a problem when you are game testing? Because it's a very, very common occurrence. It's happening for a lot of people. And the elevator guy, that's no more than like 5-6 hours into the game or something. And that's if you're taking your time, because that's exactly what I'm doing with this game. I'm taking my time with it. But 5-6 hours into the game, and it's your job to game test. How are you not picking up on these problems? Or did the problems get picked up on, and CD Projekt Red said, right, we don't have enough time to do that. We'll do that in post-launch patching. And they just shipped the game knowing full well that a lot of this stuff was broken. I mean, the hype was through the roof. Everyone was complaining, so that's possibly played part in them rushing the game out. But at the end of the day, they knew what they were doing. They have to take on the hate that's going to come with it because the game is nowhere near in a polished state. There are a lot of bugs and issues. More so with the consoles than there are with PC. But when I say consoles, not necessarily the next generation ones. And also they did try a cheeky with the HDR function. They tried simply upscaling the SDR instead of giving players a true HDR. And that caused a lot of like blurriness and stuff. But apparently in the latest patch they have sorted a lot of that. And even if it's not true HDR now, it seems to be a lot better from the feedback I'm hearing about it. So yeah, my recommendation is, like, just my opinion, be a bit more chill. Don't take this stuff out of proportion. If something's going that bad for you in the game, move on to another game and wait for a couple of patches. Give the developers at least a month or two, because you never know. You could come back in 6 weeks' time, and I could have a full-on rant kicking off saying CD Projekt Red absolutely mugged everyone off, they scammed everyone, and stuff like that. Or you could come back in 6 weeks' time and see that they put out a shit ton of different patches. They've like added a lot of stability, a lot more performance optimization and everything, and they've got the game in an incredibly good spot. So it's just like time is going to be the key factor here, and that's going to tell us what is going to happen with this game. So I'm going to recommend that everyone is a little bit more patient. If you are skeptical, then wait for patches, wait for a sale, and just focus on some other games for the time being. If you're interested in my channel, I will be covering several games, not just this and Division 2. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the video. I'm going to say again, just to try and eliminate more of the people in the comments that are going to kick off about it, this is just my opinion based on my personal experience. But let me know how it's going for you in the comments. I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.